it's important in our work with percents to convert between percents and decimals. So if we have the percent sign next to the number, even if it has a decimal point in it, this is considered a percent, and we're going to convert these percents to decimals. Now, what I like to think about is in the alphabet, the letter D comes before the letter P. And percent means per 100, or for every 100, and 100 is the second power of 10. So we're really looking at two decimal places that we're going to need to be moving to convert from a decimal to a percent and from a percent to a decimal. And if we think about in the alphabet how decimal comes before percent, if we want to get from a percent to a decimal, we're going to move the decimal point 2 places to the left. And if we want to get from a decimal to a percent, we're going to move the decimal point 2 places to the right. So let's look in 32%. And you might say, well, there is no decimal point there. Well, there really is. It's really 32.0%. And if we want to go from this percent to a decimal, we need to move the decimal point 2 places to the left. So 32% as a decimal would be 0.32 or 0.32. We can do the same thing here, even though there's a decimal in our number, because there's a percent sign. This is a percent, and it is 5.7%. And if we want to go from a percent to a decimal, we have to move the decimal point 2 points to the left. So 1, 2, so 0.057 or 0.057 would be 5.7% as a decimal. The same holds true for percentages that are greater than 100. So 120%, if we add the decimal point, it's 120.0%. To go from a percent to a decimal, we have to move 2 decimal places to the left. So this would be 1.2% for 120. It also is the same case for decimals that are less than 1. If we have 0.02%, we want to turn this percent to a decimal, we have to move 2 decimal places to the left, so 1 and then the second one, so we would have 0.0002 would be 0.02% as a decimal. So for each of these, the rule is to write it out as a percentage, including a decimal point in that number, and then to go from a percent to a decimal, you move 2 decimal places to the left.